Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool.
Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon. Hey, yo.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
Not from Disney. One of one doctors recommend. A good writer. A Blackman art. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fucking obvious theory. They fucked around. We found out. All fun and games. Until the monkey dies. Welcome to First World.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
It's nice to finally be able to talk to you. I feel like I've been sitting on the stream for like 28 minutes already. Okay.
How do I get all three of us on here? Nope, that's
Oh,
not it.
well, we'll just.
There we are.
There
I
you
found it.
Oh, you did it. Good job. Good job.
Yay.
Hey, Joseph.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, Joseph. How are you doing?
Doing good. You guys can hear me okay?
Oh, I
Yeah,
can.
you sound good. So, are you Joseph or Joe, or like what are you going by?
Yeah, whatever you want to call me. Joseph, Joe, Joey. Family was the Joey, and school was the Joe, and then professionally Joseph. So whatever you guys feel like.
Okay, great. What do you so you're gonna get the floor. You can talk about whatever you want. I have if I share my screen, I have some Facebook links for your project and Scout Comics, which you sent me. So we can go ahead and throw that up there. It's also in the show notes. But I know you were talking about how you were at MegaCon and whatnot. So I definitely wanted to bullshit with you about that.
And you just got back from C2E2, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's interesting. Have those two ever been on the same weekend?
Oh, God, you're asking the wrong person.
Actually,
It
come to
seems
think of it, I don't know if they ever have been, but they've always been real close together.
Yeah. I know MegCon's been bumping their dates around a lot. I guess they're trying to get into January. So next year it's February to get everyone ready for January, which everyone says is too early for convention season.
Yeah, I would agree,
Yeah,
but whatever.
no.
It was warm. We had a couple 90-degree days when we were down there.
Maybe.
Yeah,
And
getting
you
it in
had that.
January is just too close to the Christmas season for any kind of
Right.
a con to do well.
Right. Exactly.
So you had that with a lot of bodies, 150,000 bodies, and it gets warm and uncomfortable really quick.
I can only imagine.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Okay. I'm not
But-
like well versed with year-round Florida temperatures, but Doc, you would know.
Where were you at? Is it down in Orlando?
Orlando, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's cooking. Yeah, it's definitely 80, 90 degrees down there this time of year.
So Saturday, I think, the Saturday of the show was the busiest day of the show. I think it was the warmest day. Also of the weekend, I think it hit like 90 and so.
Oh yeah,
so,
it'll get worse. I'm an 8th generation native Floridian. It's
Okay, I got a nice sunburn. It's finally healing.
I've actually only ever had one sunburn in my life because
Okay.
I've just was born there, so it's never affected me.
I heard when you live down there for a while, your skin adapts.
It does, yes.
After
It's like a duck. I dry like in 10 minutes. It's stupid. It's actually crazy.
Wild.
I heard it's like a few weeks or something like that, and then after a few weeks, your skin's like, acclimated to the weather. I don't know. Someone was.
I don't know if it's a few weeks.
Maybe a month, 2 months.
Possibly. It's always hot. I don't know how I did it. I moved away from there almost 20 years ago, and I have no earthly idea how I had a car with no air conditioning when I lived there. I could not explain it to you now.
I don't know. I can't bear to be in warm weather with any kind of a suit or long sleeve or anything. Maybe I need to lose a few pounds and the long hair as well.
In the 3-piece suit, were you?
No, me?
Yeah.
No. I just people have weddings and stuff, and
I've done it, and I don't remember it being as uncomfortable as it probably would be now.
So
now that I'm spoiled.
So what were you at MegaCon for? Did you have a booth? Did you go with people? Were you doing cross promotion, self promotion?
We were down there for Heroes for Causes, which is the project that we started in 2019 to bring representation to kids with chronic illnesses in hospitals all over the place. So we did one for cystic fibrosis. We turned a cystic fibrosis, who's Jeremiah, into a superhero to kind of give representation to kids with cystic fibrosis with their own Superman. Then we did American Cancer Society project with a young man named Weston. He's beaten brain cancer 4 times. And then after that one, we did children's diabetes for type 1 diabetes with the Children's Diabetes Foundation. But they're just fun comics, kind of like Amazing Spider-Man in the 90s, or, a lighthearted Spawn. And just to give kids something to look forward to, when they're going through this stuff. And then there's people that have been through it before them. And to give them a little bit of hope, and a little bit of inspiration to continue fighting. So we're in like the community / kids section down there in MegCon. So the only real experiences I got with the crowds was walking through the main convention floor.
Yeah.
And then Hayden Christensen had an autograph signing on Saturday.
Oh.
And the line for that was berserk.
Really?
I think people were waiting for 12 plus hours for that line.
Wow.
And I don't know if it was just a one-day signing, but our second floor hallway was just packed with the biggest line I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
So
there was 2 floors.
I think there's actually a third. And I don't know if you're familiar, Doc, you might be as well, with Orange County Convention Center or Orlando.
I've been there a couple times. Yeah.
Okay, it's like, I don't know. It's like
a
nothing
small
I've ever
city
seen.
Almost.
Yeah, it is. That's the best way to put it.
Incredible. It's got its own. Yeah,
it's like
it's
3
got its
large
own
convention
infrastructure
centers combined into
together
one
into
roof.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
With
And
hallways in between it and
hallways in
breezeways
between,
and yeah.
multiple escalators and elevators, and then there's actually 3 floors or concourses or whatever, and then there's a north and south side, and then like 3 main convention centers kind of all packed into one. So it's like, I don't know, it's gigantic.
It's something only Orlando can pull off. Only something.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of how busy it was, like during peak on Saturday when like the crush of attendance was there, like 150K or whatever, it took about 20 to 30 minutes just to walk across the main convention floor. So you're like sardine bumping into shoulders, trying to walk around people, maneuver yourself to get to the other side. So I'd get called back to the table on the other side of the convention center, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll be right back. And then 30 minutes later, I'd finally show up. They're like, where have you been? Like wading through bodies.
So what was enjoyable about it? What was, like, because all that sounds horrifying. What?
Yeah, to experience it for the first time. Doc, have you been to MegCon?
I have not MegaCon.
Okay. So the experience is like none of that. And I've never been to San Diego or New York Comic-Con, so I can't compare to those two. I've been to pretty big shows, but nothing like MegaCon. And just the amount of cosplay that was there, the amount of good cosplay that was there, the quality of vendors and Artist Alley folks and celebrities and stuff. I guess you'd have to get out to San Diego or New York to see a similar show.
Wow.
I'm trying to get a booth at New York. We'll see if that actually comes through.
I heard they're pretty friendly with independent creators and artists. And
so far, they've been very easy to communicate with.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how long the wait list is, but I've heard it's easier to get into New York than San Diego, but I could be wrong.
Well, San Diego's the biggest San Diego's the biggest, and New York is the second biggest. Now, New York typically outperforms San Diego in the size of the crowd or the number of attendees, but San Diego does always have the crown for being the Comic-Con.
Right.
I heard New York, like the fans that show up to New York actually buy independent creator books and
New York is better known for the turnout of the independent creators or even just the vendors themselves, whereas San Diego is the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, San Diego to me and like Orlando, it's really focused on more of the celebrities now. I think I don't know if it's probably evolved over the last 10 years, but when it first got back into
Unfortunately,
comics,
I think the cons have always been involved about the celebrities.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of a pull, some sort of a
draw.
hook or anchor or something to really pull the vast majority of the audiences in.
Yeah.
And it's not us little independent creators that's pulling the vast majority of the audience.
I'm really interested in going to MegaCon next year. I'm going to actually try to shoot for that just because I've never experienced anything that huge. I'm probably going to New York later this year. So that'll be probably a fucking giant mess and nightmare. I'm wondering how horrible it was to navigate at MegaCon because I was at C2E2 and that was fine. It was not that big of a con. It was one floor. It was huge though. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
there was a lot of attendance.
A lot. Yeah. The whole place was packed. It was beyond anything I've ever been to, period. And I've been all over. That was my biggest convention though. And I mean, like 20-minute wait line to get a fucking pretzel type shit, but it was very reasonable priced. There was a good variety of everything there with cosplays, with, celebrity appearances, autographs, artist signatures, Artist Alley, vendors, whatever. It was really even. So that was nice. But I have never spent time in a city as big as Chicago. I'm from Michigan and I don't do big cities. So that was disgusting. I hated it. I hated it every second of being in the city. It's not my thing. So I've been to Florida like a million times. And I've been to Orlando, I've been to Tampa, Miami, all the big cities. So I was like, oh yeah, MegaCon would totally be more chill because like like it's not as built up of an area as Chicago, but
It's maybe worse in some. Depends on how close they put it to Disney. Some of
right.
them places are a city all in itself.
Yeah,
It
that's true.
gets kind of crazy.
Huh.
There, I believe Disney even owns a small city or a suburb that's
Yeah, they
right outside, and bunch of controversy right now going on with the laws and things down there. But let's not get into that.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so how was parking? How was navigating the city? Did you stay super close to the venue or what did you do? Just out of
So
curiosity.
yeah, when you guys go down to Disney, there's a place in like Kissimmee or however you pronounce it. It's where the majority of like the timeshare rentals, resorts, hotels are and stuff like that. And that puts you about 10, 15 minutes out of Disney without traffic.
Mhm.
So that's where we were at. And I think as far as, New York, I guess New York's impossible to get, parking or a place to stay in and around New York Comic Con. I think Orlando, because it's already prepped for Disney traffic,
Right.
especially since it's kind of not peak season for Disney, I think it was easy to find places to stay.
Nice.
Parking, I guess, was a snafu last year, so that they kind of, I don't know if they started charging for parking or started assigning parking this year. So I guess that helped with the parking issues.
Okay.
But there was still, I guess there's still crowd control issues just because of the sheer number of bodies that were in there at one time.
Right. Crazy.
Reports are maybe they're bumping up against their ceiling, and in a venue that large, it's hard to imagine what that ceiling is as far as numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think because you said, like you said, they have that preparedness for like the Disney crowd.
Yeah.
And high traffic getting out of Disney, you could be stuck on International Drive for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours.
True.
Trying to get back and forth to Tampa, it would like add another 2 hours of the trip. So in ways,
Junction.
yeah, in ways it's ready for it, and then in other ways, it's putting that many people in even a venue that large, it's still hard to manage. So, I guess they're constantly trying to improve. Last year with the parking, I guess made some people upset this year they had to pay. I don't know if they had to pay before, but then other people were able to reserve their spot, get in, no problem. And then all I heard from the fans was pretty much crowd control for some of the larger celebrity names. I guess it was difficult to maintain lines, especially, like I said, the Hayden Christensen line was, I don't know. If you're familiar with Orange County Convention Center, that second floor concourse, the hallway is gigantic, and that was just filled with bodies and a gigantic line back and forth.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then we were up on second floor North Concourse, which is kind of like the backside of the convention center. So although our friends in Artist Alley and main floor stuff saw a majority of the people that were through the convention floor, I think we saw about 2% or 3%. Just because we were in like the kid zone, it wasn't like central to the rest of the show floor. Okay. So it was cool being there for the experience, and they were inviting, and all the people that we met were great. But yeah, I think if we could have been a little more central to the show floor, it would have been a better experience for us overall.
So you went and you had a booth then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we were. So there's a at least nationally known, maybe internationally known illustrator Joe Oz. He created Charlie the Tuna Fish, little icon. He was there a couple booths down. He did some story time with kids. And then Florida, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Doc, they have their own superhero. His name's
The
Captain
state of Florida?
Yeah, for the state of Florida.
When did they do
Captain
that? No, I'm
Citrus.
unfamiliar with this.
Yeah, I didn't know either until I saw the comic book and the life-size standee. I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 years ago.
Huh.
But his name's Captain Citrus. He's an official member of the Avengers or Avengers B Squad or something.
Okay,
and,
so Marvel
it was a
picked him
partnership.
up. Gotcha.
Yeah, partnership with Marvel. And so they had their people there handing out Captain Citrus books. And then Cool Zoo, which is a big-time zoo out. They do like remote experiences and stuff at a lot of the major events. They were there in the kid zone too. But outside of that, I think that was pretty much it as far as boothing. There's another group in there for tissue donors. They're trying to do like a coloring activity / comic book. But that was it as far as the vendors. So we didn't really have any A-list celebrities in our area to draw the crowd.
Yeah,
draw the crowd up there.
wow. That sounds so tiny for such a huge event.
So our area where we had in the kids zone, it was kind of like the size of a smaller Comic-Con. That's how big our room was.
Wow.
And although we didn't see a lot of people, or kids, we did have a couple programming like Jedi Padawan training and sorting hat stuff for Harry Potter to draw the kids through.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like we said, the sheer size of it, it was pretty overwhelming if you've never been there before. And you've said this was your first time at C2E2?
Yes.
So yeah, we set up at C2E2 when Stan Lee was still around, and that was several years ago. But yeah, this convention compared to C2E2, Doc, would you imagine it's 2 or 3 times the?
Yeah, I
the
would
size
say
of
you
the
could
thing?
probably double or quadruple it. I would agree. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Con. It takes place in Atlanta, but that one's like a multi-floor.
Yeah,
show that
that's
basically
real
takes over
similar to.
the whole giant hotel and city pretty much. Cosplay, for Dragon Con weekend, cosplay is like the whole city. But yeah, this was by far the biggest I've been to. So definitely an experience if you haven't been or if you're planning to go.
So tell us about, maybe would you like to tell us about your book or any projects at all?
Yeah. Do we want to start with Misadventures?
Sure. Let's.
So this is a book that we're doing through Scout and Scoot, which is their all-age lineup. But it's a project that I started with Nicholas Touris about 2019, 2020. And, we went through the pitch process and stuff, and the folks at Scout thought it was really cool. They hadn't started their Scoot lineup, which is the all ages lineup yet. So I think we were like one of the first books signed to the Scoot label. So that they could put it in like, I don't know, the Scholastic or whatever the equivalent to Scholastic is, so kids could check it out and order it. But the size of they're like trade digests. I don't know if you're familiar with those. But it's kind of like Captain Underpants size.
Right. Yeah.
So they can put it on, like at a Barnes and Noble or something on an end cap for kids, and it's all age friendly and things like that. But the trade, I think the date's on there. But it launches next week or the 18th or something.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
So it's on Amazon right now for pre-order, although I think the cover image is wrong. And then the Scout website, I think Lunar and Diamond possibly. But yeah, it's like kind of Adventure Time meets Steven Universe. We were just at a shop the other day, and he's like, wow, that looks exactly like Steven Universe.
Oh my gosh.
But it's just Nick's style. He works on books with some other publishers and stuff, but it's it has like an anime manga style, and it's very vibrant. You can tell from the cover image there.
Oh yeah.
So it's
I also have this pulled up too. So here's your Facebook if anyone wants to connect on there.
Yeah, we were on the Madness talking last year because we had some Kickstarters running, and we had a pretty good few Kickstarters in a row, just kicking off the individual issues. Scout doesn't do with their all age titles, they don't do like sequential issues. They do issue number 1 and then they go direct to trade. So since it was important for us to have individual issues of the comic book, we did our own Kickstarters to launch that.
Oh, nice.
To prepare for the trade now here in April. So
awesome. Well, that's very exciting. Wow, I love the trade size too. I think that's going to be amazing. And you get to have them in your hands. Are they going to be black and white on the interior?
Hopefully they're all color.
Wow.
I don't know. I thought, when we started, we thought we were going to have all the issues and stuff. And then, that got changed with the launch of the Scoot imprint.
Okay.
So definitely should be all color. That's, the style of Nick's artwork definitely lends into vibrant colors and stuff. So.
And he's doing all of the illustrating and inking and lettering.
Yep. So he did all of the art stuff outside of color flatting. And then Rob Jones lettered for us.
Okay.
And then Katrina and Mike did the editing. And then I did the writing. So yeah, it's I don't know if you've worked on several projects with other folks. It's nice to be on similar teams with creators that you've worked on in the past with.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to have them back, just because there's a little bit of familiarity working with them. So you know how they work, time schedules, you know, the quality of the work that they do. So it's nice to have those guys on both Heroes for Causes projects and then also on the Misadventures with us.
Here's Heroes for a Cause. Oh my gosh, my notifications. Did you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, we had some beautiful stories down in Orlando with Heroes for Causes, just because the mission that we're doing, we're all volunteers of the core team, and then everyone outside of the core team, you know, are like third-party contractors that we worked with before, because everyone has, you know, get paid, obviously. So outside the volunteers, me, Jeremiah, and Donovan, who's the penciler and the character designer. They're, you know, they worked with us on other projects, but we were down there in Orlando. We had little kids come up and say, y'all are going to change the world, after they heard our pitch, and then offer us a fist bump. Others thanked us for, you know, the work that we're doing. There's Weston right there in that picture. He got an award from, I think, the Tampa Bay Lightning, but he is who inspired our character Center Ice, which is the hockey hero. And so he does a lot of work with children's hospitals, just inspiring kids that they can overcome brain cancer, and maybe beyond brain cancer too, but he's beaten it 4 times, and he still plays competitive hockey, and he's like a junior affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Wow.
So
what inspired you guys to want to do this project?
In 2019, Jeremiah, he has cystic fibrosis, which is a rare lung disease. He got on one of the connecting comic book groups on Facebook, and he said, hey, you know, this is a long shot, but this is a hero that I kind of created or cosplayed. Well, is the artist willing to draw this hero? And I said, I'll do you one better. I'm not an artist, but let's make it a whole comic book.
Okay.
And then an artist, Donovan Peterson, jumped on board and said he was affected, his cousins, with cystic fibrosis, so he'd love to volunteer.
Wow.
So that nucleus of the 3 of us kind of all banded behind the singular cause. And then since we've been able to publish 2 more books related to different causes, and you know, we're in talks for a 4th and 5th one right now.
So your artist was personally affected by it?
Yeah, his best friend growing up was his cousin, I think Jason, and then Jason's wife. So he, you know, back 20 years ago, the diagnosis for cystic fibrosis was maybe 25 years, maybe 30 if you're lucky.
Yeah, no.
And now with medicine and stuff, they've been able to push out. So Jeremiah, I think he's roughly 40, doing pretty well, you know, has cystic fibrosis. You know, he still has a lot of treatments and medicine he has to take all the time, but, you know, he's doing well. And I was going to say, I think the website link should load.
Oh, well, we'll go back to when it says it's gotten its shit together. So the artist was personally affected by it. You just thought this was a great thing to dedicate your time to.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know Luke Stone, but I think it's in our DNA to kind of, I don't know, just want to help, you know, help serve other people, even if it's not something that you're personally connected to. And I was moved by Jeremiah's story. And then when I saw an opportunity to impact kids all across the world with, you know, true superheroes, the people that we're telling the stories of are the true superheroes in the realest sense of the world. You know, just the fact that they have to go through breathing treatments and 20 different types of medication and still live a full productive life is something that, you know, we'll never know the struggles of, and that they can still keep up and live happy lives for the most part is beyond amazing. So we just want to tell their story with the world, let other people know that aren't familiar with the diseases that they exist, and then also kids that are fighting those diseases that they have their own superheroes they can look up to. So
that is amazing.
But on the left is Center Ice, so that was inspired by Weston Herman. I think he's 15 now, and he's down in Tampa, Florida. And on the right, it's kind of our homage to Amazing Spider-Man 298. That's Jeremiah in his costume as Pathway, and the other character you see is the Gasp, and he's a villain kind of like Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. Yeah. But all of our villains represent the things that are the nemesis to the disease. So smoke and lung irritation and stuff is obviously the nemesis of someone with cystic fibrosis. So we kind of made that into its own villain. And we do
Wow.
the same thing with Center Ice and our latest book.
That is very cool. How many books do you have?
So 3 right now. We just got Upturn and Downdraft 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And then we have cerebral palsy that's like on our radar. It's just a matter of connecting with the right charity or organization that, is behind the cause or the chronic illness.
Very cool.
Autism is on there,
Right.
muscular dystrophy. So we've been in talks with several children's hospitals, and since we're volunteers, we have to come up with a amount to print the books.
Yeah.
And especially if we want to get a bunch of these books out, so we try to have the charities tap their donors and sponsors and find a way to help print the books, because it's not cheap, unfortunately.
Right. Wow. Doc, do you have anything?
No, I'm processing the superheroes and the merger of it, and it's absolutely brilliant from multitudes of angles. But I have a brother that's disabled myself, and it's absolutely brilliant and strikes a personal chord with me.
Yeah. I think
Obviously we love that, broaden our platform. I think just from the number of contacts we had at MegaCon, the thank you for doing this, thank you for giving me representation, that pushes us forward. But unfortunately, kindness doesn't pay the bills or print comic books. Right. So it'd be nice to be able to get to a platform where, I don't know, we joke like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, and then someone's watching that actually has some resources, and they're like, all right, here's a check, you guys do 4 more books, don't worry about anything, we're going to take care of it, which would be a big blessing. So yeah, but in the meantime, we'll grind away until we get in front of the right audience.
Hustle until you make it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
but I don't know, you guys with your books, when you've done conventions and stuff, your books have a certain special meaning to you depending on where you were at in your life when you wrote them. And I started in 2012 with my independent book. It was like a zombie horror kind of psychological thriller book. And selling this book or pitching it to people just seems to come so much more naturally because of the mission, because of the cause behind it. I'll bring myself to tears telling people about it, just because of how much passion and heart we have behind the project. So we were just talking about, Mr. Beast goes out and gives away cars and stuff like that, and it's always on camera, and we feel bad every time we want to help share that moment where a kid picks up the book, runs away from her table, does a fist pump because he can connect to our superhero. If we could bottle that and show it to online audiences, I think that our gathering would grow a little quicker.
Huge. So. Yeah, you just need, unfortunately, it sounds a little shitty, but you need that viral moment.
Yeah
and it is what it is. I mean, it's not exploitative because you're putting in
but it is hard to manufacture.
It is and it feels exploitative if you're kind of trying to use the genuine thing here, but at the same time, I don't know, I guess my feelings would be it serves a purpose to allow you to keep doing that work. So by all means, the next time you're at a convention, record everything.
Like I said, there's so many moments that gave me goosebumps, and people come up and they're like, look, you're giving me goosebumps right now just from talking about our mission and the heroes and stuff. This little girl with these little princess fairy wings and thick glasses came up, and we told her about it, and she's walking away flipping through the book and reading it and dancing. It was just if we could capture that moment and just share it with people. But like you said, it feels exploitative. You don't want to take pictures of kids, whether they're reading your book or not. I even feel bad taking pictures with adults that are cosplaying, with Jeremiah, who's dressed up as one of our characters. So, it's a fine line you got to walk.
Yeah.
So
the line in here.
Yeah, no, I dance all over it. I got no shame. None.
No, I was just gonna say it's nice to meet other human beings who have those lines.
Nope.
No lines, huh, Doc? We need to take some notes from you then.
No, I'd be I'd be PSAing it and throwing it every place that I could. Yeah.
You would. You're so funny. Oh, where's Mike? Is he jumping on here? I sent him the link. Oh well, sorry. Anyways, continue, friends. But yeah, you're awesome, Doc. You're a super nice person, but you'd totally be like, anyway, stand there, Jimmy, because
Yep. No, I'd be staging it. Yeah, no, put your yes, just like that. Okay. 2, 3, smile, cheese.
Oh well.
You know, it is what it is. And
So
gotta be
see
honest.
those little coloring pages we did and the little photo grid.
Awesome. Yes.
So we just handed out free coloring pages for kids to. So that's the extent that we're willing to go to to exploit, the moments that we have with people. But we need
Wow.
to find a way to add, just kids will come up and color on the table, and we tell them if they hand it in a colored page, we give them a rubber duck, which is a big thing at MegaCon apparently.
Interesting.
Ducks.
I saw those. Yep, there they are.
Ducks.
Oh, weird. Interesting of all things. I don't know.
Years ago, some guy made it a thing at MegaCon where he walked around and he's just started handing out ducks to everybody, and I guess it's grown in popularity. So
I'm gonna do a new
people
thing.
came up strictly for the ducks at our table over the weekend.
Huh, interesting. Well, I don't know when or
Gotta
if
collect them all.
Mike's gonna come on. So moving forward into the second half of the show, Joe, if you want to hang around, totally hang around. I would then say up until that point, Doc, why don't you talk about some of your projects going on if you'd like to, or anything that comes to mind, and we'll also let Joseph keep talking about anything he wants to, and
we can
let it go.
What? Sure, sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I'm finishing up the editing of the Kickstarter for issue number 2 of our comic of our comic First World, which is a satirical parody, the complete and total opposite direction on where you're going, Joseph, with where your comic book is. No, this is a Saturday Night Live meets Mad Magazine on a bad acid trip.
Yeah, it's for bad people.
So yeah, there's nothing kid friendly about it. There's nothing remotely serious about it. If it can be made fun of, we do our very best to make fun of it. More on the South Park type of style. So I am putting together the release for issue 2 on Kickstarter, which we have finished. We've got a little bit of editing left to do to it, just from the put together side of it. But other than that, we're ready to print with it. So we're going to be doing our launch live here on Pops' channel on 4/20.
Oh yeah,
for the live launch of that one.
Doc, are you planning? What conventions do you think you're planning on going to this year? And Joseph, do you think you're going to any more this year? What's going on here?
I say I've actually just picked up a booth at Fanboy Expo.
Okay.
So I will be at Fanboy Expo on their vendor row. I am on the waiting list for New York. I've been in communication with them. I have an application for Artist Alley, but me and you need to talk about that one.
You're on the waiting list for New York.
Yes.
So if it pops off, you're committing to it.
Yes.
Oh, that's some serious shit. Okay, cool.
And I'm trying to get into the actual vendor side a little bit faster than the artist side, because going through the Artist Alley they've got set up for New York, unless you are somebody, you're not getting in. They want to know who's published you, what works you've worked on, and all this stuff. And they've made it perfectly clear it's not a first come first serve. We're going to collect all the biggest names that we can collect and put them down Artist Alley. And if we have room, then we can throw some leftovers.
Okay.
So I think that one's going to be a better approach, trying to get in as a just straight up vendor.
Right.
And I had actually almost forgotten about Dragon Con. So during the conversation, I have now downloaded the application for Dragon Con.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, do it. I've heard so many things.
Dragon Con's not very far from me. That's a day trip for me.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
It's like what, 8 hours?
Oh, about 4.
4?
Yeah, no, Atlanta's not far. No. I could be there quick.
I don't know shit about geography, apparently. Okay. That's badass. Okay. So New York, potentially, maybe you're seeing about Atlanta. Fanboy in Knoxville. What about Tampa? Are you doing Tampa?
Oh, and yeah, the Tampa is going to be in July. I'm going to be sharing a booth with Bob Dixon and his release of the 4th book of his trilogy of Snafu.
The 4th of the trilogy.
Oh, it's hilarious. I love Bob. He is so clever.
I want everybody to know that's intentional. It's not retaliation. It's a joke. Just as a sidebar, so I have a cousin that actually reached out to me because I don't know why, but whatever. I have people everywhere for no reason. And she was like, hey, if you go to San Diego Comic-Con, let me know. I want to come with you because I have totally like a bunch of places we could stay there. It's where she went to college.
Oh,
So
right on.
Yeah, she knows like the whole city and there's
I
like
wasn't planning on San Diego this year.
yeah, no, that's
Just location and opportunity. I was looking at some more of the closer ones, and if I can get into New York, that's going to probably be
that.
the biggest thing I can do this year.
Yeah, yeah.
But
What
I
about
also have other trade shows to do as well, so I'm stacking up right now. It looks like I'll be going to 8 different places for the rest of the year, and that's a lot of travel.
it is a lot of traveling. I don't know, but that keeps me sane though. What about you, Joseph? What are you doing this year?
So we're open. So I'll have my misadventures trade out in 9 days. So as far as personally, I could do some shows with the Scout and Scoot group. I know they do big booths, and then they'll have creators in throughout the weekend.
Oh,
To do like a couple hours signings and stuff like that. So I might join the Scout and Scoot crew at a few events, and then I guess other than my personal project, we're open to any and all conventions within driving range. 4 hours is pretty good. So I'm in Ohio, Donovan's in Las Vegas, and Jeremiah's in Tampa. So 4 hours from any one of those is doable for us to appear at a show and do Heroes for Causes.
We've got Fanboy coming up.
Is that in Tennessee?
It's in Knoxville, yeah.
In Knoxville.
And
did they discontinue that show a while ago and then bring it back?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Okay. I thought there was a Fanboy that was a popular show, and then going into COVID, maybe the year before or something,
that may have been us. Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention to it on that one.
Okay.
I'm still rather new at this side of the industry. I'm a longtime fan, brand new creator with first.
Have you done Fanboy then before?
No, I've only been as a fan.
Okay.
I've done cosplay there once, and I showed up there and marketed another business I had once. But other than that, no, I've not done anything on this side of it before. And I wasn't actually in Fanboy on the marketing. I was more outside of Fanboy.
I gotcha. Yeah, I know that's been on my radar for a few years, and it's not. I mean, 8 hours is much better than the 16 that we drove for Orlando.
Well, and the booth wasn't very bad as far as monetary wise. The booth was extremely reasonable.
Yeah.
Where are you in Ohio?
Northeast Ohio. I don't know if you're familiar with like Cleveland, Akron area, but we're in Stowe.
No, but I have cousins that grew up in Elyria, and my sister lives in Perrysburg right now.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
all pretty close.
Oh, close to you? Okay, well, if you want to go to like a super lame Comic-Con, you can come to Motor City. I'll be there.
When is Motor City this year?
Okay, it's April. I think it's at the end of May.
Is Pops and everyone else going to be there too?
No, I asked, and none of them have a booth.
Okay. Yeah, we used to do Motor City a lot, and I haven't been for a while. I mean,
it's clearly no like giant mega convention, but it's not a bad one. It's clean. It's nice. They get a good turnout.
May 19th through the 21st.
Okay, there you go. It's decent. It's decent. Yeah, I'll be there.
You'll have to reach out to them because that's really close for us. It's only 2.5 hours. I have an aunt that lives right outside of Detroit and Monroe. So we like to stay with her and visit.
I have people on a waiting list right now, and one of my cousins is volunteering as a cosplayer or whatever. So let me know.
5 minutes. I need more coffee.
Go for it. Yeah, get your coffee and your robe. But you're just always in the damn robe.
I'm envious of that robe. Is that a comic robe?
Doctor Who, actually.
Oh, nice.
I was over here thinking it was Star Wars for some reason, but whatever.
Close, but yeah, no, Doctor Who, made with love from my mother. So I'm, mama's boy.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Got the mommy Doctor Who robe. I love it. Okay, yeah, so I'll be at Motor City. I don't know what's going on in Ohio. I'm sure there's shit going on down there. You got Cleveland, Cincinnati, and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't ever hear about Ohio cons, so maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, Wizard World used to run one in Columbus that kind of got bought out or something. So they're hoping to revitalize the Columbus one. Cincinnati has a pretty good show. I think it's Fan Expo, maybe. Motor City was one of the 25,000 plus crowds within driving distance.
Yeah.
And in Pittsburgh, you'd think Pittsburgh would have a much larger show just because of the population, but
I guess I guess so. I would think maybe more Philadelphia. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely Philly. Philly used to have the Wizard World show. I think that got bought out by Fan Expo. But I'd say that's a bigger show. I want to say that's over 25 or 35,000 people.
Yeah. Ooh, cool.
So you're boothing at Motor City?
I am not, but I have friends that are. So I will be there in conjunction with them. I'm not trying to sit at a booth all day. I like go and sell shit and walk around and network with people that I know are going. So yeah. And then I have friends that are getting booths at New York. Doc is one of them, and I might know a couple other people that are getting booths in New York, which is the only reason I would be going. That's like I don't know. But yeah, so those. So yeah. I'm trying to link up with people anywhere we go. I'll probably be I won't probably. I'll try to get to the Knoxville one since he's got a booth there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it easier having friends and stuff that go because you can either room share or
I'm hoping you come to the Knoxville one.
I want to, dude. The only logistical issue for me is like you're an 8-hour drive directly south of me. I'm in Michigan. So
yeah, but that's like an hour and a half flight.
Right, but the flights, since you're not in an international airport, are like $600 fucking dollars.
They're expensive.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I can be clever. We'll figure something out.
Everywhere else I've looked, like Denver, New York, Florida, they're like $200 and $250, and I'm
middle of BF nowhere here, and yeah.
I don't know. I thought about even looking at Louisville or whatever they call it, Louisville, Kentucky, or something else close.
Or Nashville, or
how about Indiana?
Oh, Indiana.
Indiana has Indie PopCon, and they're pretty big.
Oh, yeah, right. I forget Indianapolis is a thing. That's a big-ass city.
That is August 25th to 27th this year.
Oh, that's drivable for me. I think Indy is only like 4 hours from me.
August 25th to 27th, that's going to be literally right before Dragon Con, and Dragon Con's August 31st through September 4th.
Well, if you can't get into Dragon Con, there you go. You can try for Indy.
Yeah, I can visit my grandchildren while I'm over there in that area.
They're in Chicago, I thought. No,
they moved away from there. It's just one of the closer, bigger cities.
Yeah, good for them.
They don't need to be too terribly close to that. Yeah, no, they're in the suburbs out somewhere between there and St. Louis.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. Huh. Well,
who did art for
the Knoxville thing? I'll try. I realized when I went to C2E2, it's been like a couple of years since I got out of the house. Like the husband and the kids and the whole rigmarole. And when I got out, I was like, "Oh, I need this for my mental health." I was like, "This. I need this."
Yeah, getting out is definitely always fun. I don't get to go to the big convention for my trade this year. I'm going to send 2 of my employees instead.
Oh, well, fuck people. I don't care where I go. I could go to the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere. It's just nice to get physical distance from where you're from and then perspective away.
Well, we do have a place here not too terribly far. It's down in Chattanooga. It's called Lookout Mountain. It's an absolutely gorgeous view, one of the best views I've seen most of the places in the United States.
I have a lot of from Knoxville for some fucking reason, and they all talk about how beautiful it is.
It's pretty here.
Yeah. I believe it.
And then
I'm looking up images now
of Knoxville.
Of Lookout Mountain.
Oh.
Yeah. Tell me that's not gorgeous.
Is that a real waterfall?
Yes.
That's beautiful. And then there's a cave with like multicolored lights and stuff. A gigantic cave. Is that there?
You must be talking about Mammoth Cave, right?
Chattanooga, Lookout Mountain attraction.
Mammoth Cave, I believe, is the one you're talking about.
Okay.
I believe.
Close enough to be related?
Oh, yeah. That's Ruby Falls, yeah.
Ruby Falls.
Ruby Falls. Oh, no. I've got to give props to whoever marketed Ruby Falls is incredible. On every hillbilly back road anywhere in the Appalachian Mountains, you see Ruby Falls painted on the side of barns. I had to go find this place just because I had seen it advertised so often. I'm like, okay, now, what is this place? So I ended up going and finding it.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. Hold the motherfucking phone. On this Lookout Mountain, you can actually see 7 different states.
Yes.
Well, that's a lot more impressive than being able to stand in the 3 or 4 or whatever it is in Utah. How come I've never heard of this?
Because
Alabama, Georgia, what is
oh
it?
yeah,
Tennessee, Kentucky. Wait, that's Tennessee, Kentucky. Oh, North Carolina. I wasn't seeing that. South Carolina. Oh shit. Georgia and Alabama. Man, son of a bitch.
Pretty
yeah,
impressive.
it's an incredible view. I've been there several times.
I can beat it. I can beat that shit.
Here, hold my beer.
I can beat this shit. First of all, look up Turnip Rock in Michigan, or Lake of the Clouds, or Torch Lake. I rest my mother.
Turn up rock.
Turnip. Like
Turnip.
I'm fixing to eat this damn turnip.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. It's like a little island that just like.
Yeah.
Pops is
Can you actually stand on it?
No, you can't access it. It's like a protected area.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's cool looking. You can look at it. You can't touch it. You can kayak around it and shit like that. People do that a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah. Or the Lake of the Clouds. That's all right. That's I don't know. I don't think it's like a natural reserved site or like thing, but like a protected site, but it's badass. And then also Torch Lake is, or was at least when I was growing up, like always ranked one of the most beautiful lakes in the entire world, like top 10. So that's something.
One of my favorite things to do in Michigan is the sand dunes. You
Yeah.
can rent the buggies and you can like just cruise up and down the sand dunes. And then a lot of times it doesn't reach the top and then you got to jump out and push it.
Yeah, the Great Bear Dunes, Warren Dunes, all them dunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked to go up them and then just run down, and you're like,
It's cool. You don't expect that to be in Michigan.
no, there's a lot of cool shit here. The winter sucks.
Yeah, you all talk about lakes, and the only thing I can think about is how many gators are in there.
Gators. Oh yeah.
Gators, yeah. We had a place down home back in Florida with
Right.
Myakka State Park. There was more gators than people in the area. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. Did you look up Lake of the Clouds? That's
I did. So the cloud thing, is that an effect caused by the lake?
It's in the mountains.
Okay.
So it's at a higher elevation. So I don't know if that affects like why it's so clear looking and all that. But it is a very reflective. It's in the middle of a huge national. Well, I don't think it's national. I think it's just a huge state park. So it's very untouched area.
So it's very peaceful.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Have
think
either one of you been out to Salt Lake?
No, I haven't. I've always wanted to fucking go though.
Salt Lake is incredible with how thick and dense it is.
Yeah.
I think it would be almost physically impossible to drown in there.
I have read that as a child. I used to have like a kid's Guinness book thing, and it said that you like anybody can float. No, that was the Dead Sea. Never mind. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I believe it about Salt Lake. I know they have a very, very, very high salt content.
Oh yeah, I was out there and I walked like 100, 200 yards out, just to see how deep it could get to like past my knees or my waist. And as you take a step, the water would come and slap the back of your foot, damn near trying to take your foot out from underneath you. It was definitely an interesting experience coming from Florida and the water being not nearly as
What is
solid. So, yeah. What is it? Yeah, I think you were going to say the word correctly.
I think maybe I didn't. I don't know. But yeah, like
salination or something along those lines. Yeah, it's only thing that can survive, and it's something like brine shrimp and brine flies are the only two organisms that can survive in something that salty. It was an amazing learning experience. I camped right actually on the edge of it.
You're talking about Utah, or are you talking about the sump?
Salt Lake,
California.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that salty shit.
Oh yeah, neither did I. I didn't realize it was that bad either. But we went and hung out there for the weekend and just played around in it. And yeah, the wakes of the boats would last minutes.
Sounds weird.
It was. If you were fast enough, I bet you could reach down and grab a handful of dirt from or the sand from the bottom of it and pull it back up without getting your hand wet. behind a foot, behind walking, behind the wake your foot would make.
I know what you're saying. That sounds.
Now, probably I'm horribly off on how fast that would actually need to be, but yeah, there was a noticeable gap of time for the water to smack the back of your
I'll
foot.
be YouTubing that later. But I can't relate. I live in Michigan. We have more fresh water than like what anywhere else in the entire world. So there's no salt here, baby. No salt, no crocodiles.
So, Doc, I'm looking up Salt Lake, and it reminded me of the Fan X San Diego Comic-Con controversy. I don't know if you guys remember that years ago. Is Fan X even still a thing? Because apparently that was a giant convention in Salt Lake area, right?
Not aware of it. What is it called? Fan X?
Fan X, I don't know if they call it Comic Expo or whatever it is. But, yeah, there's a big controversy with San Diego Comic-Con years ago. But there's a rivalry between the creators, founders, something like that.
September 21st to the 23rd. It's still a
this
thing.
year?
Yeah.
So apparently FanX, they like rose to prominence because there wasn't like a big convention out there, and they had like 120,000 people one year.
Holy fuck.
Oh, wow.
And they decided to do some, I don't know, are you guys familiar with the story?
No, I'm not.
Oh, so they decided to like do some aggressive guerrilla marketing, and they did some custom paint job on a Lamborghini or something, and they drove it out to San Diego Comic-Con to like drive around the show and, you know, get some free press. And then they got sued by San Diego Comic-Con because they were using at the time Comic-Con, I don't know, Utah or something like that, Utah Comic-Con. And then they changed their name to FanX after that. And then there was a big controversy that Comic-Cons weren't allowed to use the Comic-Con words.
That's why they started changing things to Fanboy and Dragon Con.
Yeah, Fanboy and yeah. So and that was all because of these folks out, I think, in Utah that decided to do this. So yeah, a lot of Comic-Cons like
home.
Yeah. So they were rivaling San Diego as far as attendance, and then they got a little too loud, and San Diego didn't like it, so
they got checked.
The rest is history. But I don't know if FanX, you said you had dates for 2023?
Yeah, I'm looking at their website right now. It is 164 days away, so it'll be on September 21st through the 23rd.
Okay.
Salt Lake Comic Convention, FanX.
Apparently, this is a big show because they've had years over 120,000 people. So you might want to put that one on your calendar if
I might need to look at this one. It's been years since I've been out to Salt Lake. Do what?
How far are you from there?
From Salt Lake?
Yeah.
Like, oh God, flying distance. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no way I'm driving that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I was out in there, it was for the Mormon library. They've got an incredible genealogy library.
My grandparents have been there a couple times.
Yeah. That's the sole purpose of me going there. I was doing some genealogy.
2 locations, Salt Lake City and Copenhagen, Denmark.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I've been to Salt Lake City. That place is enormous.
That is bad ass. I've always wanted to go because they made like a huge trip of it and spent days there. And that's how we ended up.
Yeah, we did the same thing. Yeah. I was there for, I think, 5 days is what it took me to get the information I was looking for.
That is so weird because every time I've told people this story, they're like, "That's a weird shit thing to do," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
No, I've traced my genealogy back into the 1500s.
My family traced our genealogy back to specific Viking clans by doing that. It was badass. So we literally have like all binders. We all have binders of it and shit.
My bloodline can almost take responsibility for Thanksgiving.
Oh.
I'm related to a William Bradford. And he is the one. He's the one that has the only written record of the Thanksgiving on Plymouth Rock comes from his diary.
Doc is the official. What would you say? The official
founding father.
American founding father. There you go, found father. The funny part about that is we actually have a character in our comic book. His name's Found Fathers.
Doc is the official authority on American Thanksgiving at this point.
You know,
There it is.
What was it? Last year was the 400th year my family celebrated it on this continent.
Wow.
Something like that. It was something crazy. I
Oh,
want to
we're
say it was
there.
400 years. Maybe it was 300 years. It was something like that.
That's crazy as fuck. Alrighty then. Anyways, oh shit, we have to go in a couple minutes, you guys. Joseph, sorry, we're like out here bullshitting about cons and travel.
Good. Don't worry about it.
We're a mess. Joseph, do you want to go ahead and say anything to wrap up about find me on Facebook, Twitter, XYZ, support?
Yeah. If so, anybody that's listening, we're always looking for more resources to plug into with obviously Heroes for Causes. So, Doc, you mentioned Fanboy in Tennessee. If anyone has any connections to shows or just wants to shoot us a link, hey, check out this show. We're more than welcome or more than willing to follow it up. So hopefully we can make an appearance at maybe Fan Expo or like you said, maybe Motor City. If they're open to having like some kind of community / charitable involvement, we'd love to show up and pop up a booth. But heroesforcauses.com, like you have up there. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Heroes for Causes, FORCAUSES. Yep.
Yeah, I'll keep you updated about Motor City. If I know anybody who does end up getting a booth, I will ask them if they would be willing to share some space with you guys for sure.
Yeah, and our books, we do the shows, our standard books, we just say they're free. If you're inspired to make a donation, you can either donate directly to the charity that each book is involved with a different charity, or we can take cash donations, and that just goes back into printing more books and helping us show up at more shows.
Amazing.
What do you normally do for Free Comic Book Day?
So I don't have anything booked this year.
Well, go ahead and send me a message. I might be able to get you booked in my area for Free Comic Book Day on a local place we've got down here that does pretty well for themselves on turnout. It's nowhere close to a Comic-Con, but yeah, it's not a bad place to market at.
And sometimes I've realized, the more not like intimate, at a comic shop or something, you have a little more attention from the people that come through. At a convention, it's one past the other. If you don't get them within that 10 second hook.
They're not going to throw you in a corner somewhere either. They might even headline you. So
that'd be neat just to, to let people know that we're going to be there. And if, like you said, if you can get the word out in advance, then people can come knowing that, you might be there and signing books or have books or whatever. So, but yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely appreciate it. Thank you
I will
very much.
definitely keep you abreast of anything I find out also, because that is amazing. And also congratulations on the misadventures. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's cool. I would like to talk to you again sometime and ask you exactly how that works when you travel with them and do cons. But we clearly got super sidetracked today because I definitely meant to ask you that. But oh well, another time. So anything else, Doc?
Anything else? Sorry, no, I was off on a random rabbit hole. My brain went checked out for a second. I'm back though. Hi. We've got a minute and a half left. We've got a minute and a half left, and we can hero for causes. And no, I'm just rambling.
For help, contact. You have the Facebook page. You have the website. Get a hold. Help out.
This is an incredible cause. Absolutely.
And even if it's just someone like, hey, have you explored, sickle cell, or have you explored that? That's helpful too, because we put on our list, there's a list of charities that are involved with every kind of cause. We just reach out to them and see if, they have any resources we can plug into and help share awareness with their cause and everything. So.
Wow. Well, I'm nowhere near any of these people, but if you ever need help with Tourette's, I'm your girl because I have Tourette's.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and run this last ad and get out of here. So good night, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Great.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.